Hi everyone, it's Olivia from Girlybunches and I'm doing a half African flower hexagon today. I've done a full hexagon video showing you how to do the full flower, but like I did the half hexagon video to show you how to sort of even off your edges if you're making a blanket with this pattern, I thought I would show you how to do this half African flower as well. I don't really know what to call it, but yeah, I suppose it's half African flower, half hexagon shape. But yeah, so I know a few people have asked for this, and I know I did say in the hexagon in the African flower video that I was thinking about doing this, so you know, finally I've done it. So I hope you enjoy this video and I hope you find it useful, so I'll get on and show you how I've done this. Okay, so what we need to do is, on the full hexagon you have enough posts here to make 6 petals. So you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with 2 chain spaces between them so that you can put your petal into them. So in order to make a half flower, I'm really tongue-tied about calling what to call this, the half African flower, half flower, you need to have enough space to do 3 petals. You also need to have a stitch that will make it nice and flat. So you would be forgiven for thinking that you would need 3 posts, 3 sets of posts, but actually you need 4 because you need 3 gaps to put the petals into. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'll show you. So using the magic loop, we're going to get the right end of the crochet hook and I'm going to start this off. And I'm going to do 3 chains to replace my first treble, remembering I'm using British terminology, so I call it a treble, but you may know it as a double. So that's 3, and then we're going to do our next treble, and then we're going to do 2 chains and do the next 2 trebles like so, and again 2 chains, 2 trebles, 2 chains and 2 trebles, and that should give us our 4 sets of trebles and gives us our 3 spaces to make our petals. So I've finished with that colour now, so I'm just going to finish off, fasten off that yarn like so, and I've pulled that middle in, and that makes that, you can almost start to see the shape. Okay, so now we're going to do the petals. So this 3 chains here replaces the treble, and it isn't half of a flower. It is just so that we've got a nice straight edge. Okay, so it isn't part of the pattern as such, it just gives us this nice straight edge so that we can use that in our blankets or cushions or whatever you want to use this half hexagon flower for. Okay, so we're going to attach the yarn to the top of that 3 chains there, do 3 chains and then a spacer chain and then 2 trebles, 2 chains, 2 trebles, and there's a chain space there, so that we're just going to repeat that pattern. So I'll just attach my yarn, and like I say, we're going to put the hook into the top of that 3rd chain there, and I'm going to chain 3, one, 2, 3, and then 1 more as a spacer, and then I'm going to carry on working the pattern. So that will be 2 trebles, 2 chains and 2 trebles, and again 1 chain and then 2 trebles, 2 chains and 2 trebles into that same space there. Sorry if you can hear my washing machine. I do need to wash clothes. Okay, so there's my second lot of 2 trebles. Okay, 1 chain, 2 trebles, 2 chains and 2 trebles, and then I'm going to do 1 chain, and I'm going to do a treble into the top of that last treble from that previous round. Okay, so you can see we've got the 3 bases of our petals there. If you were going to change colour now, I would recommend you starting from this side, but I'm going to carry on using this colour, so I'm just going to work back the other way. But you do want to have the front of the stitch facing forward for as much of the work as you can. So yeah, if you were going to change colour, then I would say come back around here and start again, but to do the next part, but I'm going to go back this way in the same colour. So to do that, chain 3 like that. I'm going to chain 1 to make it a space again, like I've got a space here. I'm going to turn my work around, and then I'm going to do my 7 trebles into the 2 chain space, like we did with the full flower, to make the top of the petal. Okay, so there we go, that's the top of the petal. So it is following the principle, following the principle of the full flower. So if you haven't seen that video, do have a look at the link description box below, because I've got a link to it down there. So we're going to do 1 chain, which is like a spacer like we've got here between the next petal, and again into that 2 chain space I'm going to do 7 trebles. Okay, and then 1 chain, and again into here 7 trebles. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 7. I'm going to do 1 chain, and then I'm going to do a treble into the top of that 3rd chain from that first round of the petals, and I've done with that colour now, so I'm going to cut my yarn and fasten it off. Okay, so let's have a look, see what we've got. So we're getting on nicely there, and we're starting to get that lovely shape that we have from here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do this green round with this stitch that reaches across these 2 rows and brings them together, which makes that petal shape. I can get that to focus. There you go. Okay, so I've used green, and if I can find my green yarn, here it is. Okay, so I've attached my green yarn to my hook, and what we're going to do is I'm just going to start it off and do a chain to replace that double, and then we're going to work doubles into the top of each stitch. And this stitch here goes across the 2 rows. Okay, so attach the yarn. Whoops. Sorry about that. Do 1 chain to replace that double, and then I'm going to do a double that reaches across those 2 rows, those 2 rounds. So it's just the normal double, but because it goes across 2 rounds like that, it looks longer and it looks slightly different, but it is exactly the same as you would normally do a double. And then I'm going to just do a double into the top of each of those stitches. I'm just going to move my camera cables because I keep catching it with my hook. And then, yeah, one double into the top of each of those stitches from the previous round. Like that. And then here again, what we need to do is we need to put the hook down into that second round space there and pull the yarn up and through to do the double across those 2 rounds. And as you can see, it pulls that up to make that more into a petal shape. Okay, I'll just carry on. And like it did in the other video, it does sort of curl that up a bit, but when you do the next round it gives it more shape, so don't worry. Oh, I keep catching this camera cable. Let me move that out of the way. Right. Okay, so we're going to do that. And this is a bit tricky, this one, because you have to sort of pull it out the way a bit, and there we go. There we go, and then you just do one double into the top of that third chain from the previous round, like that. Okay, so as I said, it does pinch it up a little bit, makes it a bit curly, but when we do the next round it will flatten that out. So I'm just going to finish this off, fasten off my yarn, and we'll quickly compare that to what we've got here. And now what we're going to do is this white bit, which again you choose your colours, and this is just going to be trebles into each stitch until we get to that middle of that petal when we're going to make a corner, and the corner will be 1 treble, 1 chain and 1 treble into that same stitch space there, and you do that when you get into the middle of the petal, so that will be the 4th stitch in. Okay, and then you come back across, so you've got 3 of the remaining petal stitches there, 1 in the middle, then you go in 3, and then that 4th stitch will be a corner. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. So I've attached my final colour, and again I'm going to come back round to here, and into the top of that green one I'm going to do 3 chains to replace my first treble. And then I'm going to do a treble into each stitch along until I get to the middle of the petal. So there's 7 stitches to make the petal, so I've gone 1, 2, 3 into that petal. Remember that one's covering over that middle one there, and then that 4th one into the petal I'm going to do 1 treble, 1 chain and 1 treble, and to that same stitch. Just get some more yarn, like that. And then I'll go 1, 2, 3, and that's the rest of that petal. There's 1 in the middle there, and there's 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one is the middle of the petal. So we're going to go across 7 stitches with the treble. So that's 1, 2, 3. 4th one is the middle of our side. Now do 1, 2, 3, that fourth one now is the middle of that petal. So I do another turning or corner stitch, which is 1 treble, 1 chain, 1 treble, and then again I'm going to go across 7 stitches until I get to the middle of that petal there, and do another corner stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, gets more yarn, 6, 7, and that 8th one will be the middle, so that's 1 treble, 1 chain and 1 treble into that same stitch, and then we're just going to work our way off to the end with 1 treble in each stitch. And that's it. So I'll just fasten that off. And there we go. That is the half African, half hexagon African flower. So there you go. That's very simple. Obviously you need to sew in your ends. That'll make it look much nicer, and it will look like this once you've sewn your ends in. So yeah, really simple. It probably doesn't look simple, but I hope you agree that once now I've shown you, it is simple to do. And yeah, you can make some straight edges to your lovely your lovely patterns and projects that you've been making. So I really hope you found this video helpful. I'd love a thumbs up if you did. Don't forget, I'm doing videos once a week now, so if you have any suggestions, I would really love to hear them. Yeah, message me on Instagram, Facebook or Twitter, or just down below in the comments box, and do read the comment description box down below, because I do put lots of helpful links in there. And again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back very soon with a new video. Thank you, bye for now.